Hey everyone, welcome to today's audio video here on Pretty Privilege. I'm Tenemane, and today's topic of discussion is one I am extremely passionate about because I'm going to be sharing sacred spiritual gifts for your menstrual cycle. So before we begin, grab a snack, grab a meal, a beverage of your choice, and relax while I talk about these sacred spiritual gifts. Now, for any woman who has had their menstrual cycle, flow, or period, as we call it here in America, for years, or maybe you're beginning your flow or have had irregularities within your life, these sacred spiritual gifts I'm about to go over are ones I've been implementing during my flow. Whatever you believe resonates with you, please utilize and incorporate whatever will create a happier experience for you during your flow. Let us begin with sacred spiritual gift number 1. What's her name? The reason as to why I personally do not refer to my period as period or time of the month or menstruating is because it sets a commercial connotation towards women that removes her own individuality. When I know I'm about to begin flowing, I refer to what is happening as petunia or flow. My reason for naming her is because, when you really think about it, this experience as a woman is subjective. Our flow will be prevalent for many years within our life, and by naming what is cleansing, releasing, and relaxing our body, all naturally, of course, right? It's beautiful. And honestly, it should not be conformed to only generic, vapid names. When I began referring to my flow as petunia, I began to feel more gentle, peaceful, and appreciative in knowing the increased embrace I welcome her with. It serves as gratitude towards what my body is capable of doing. And I want you all to choose a name that you feel comfortable and in love with, because this spiritual gift between you and her will create a solid, happy relationship from the get. Number 2, gratitude party. Now, looking back as a teenager, I never had a party for when I began to flow. So what I love doing on a monthly basis that serves as such a kind gift to yourself is welcoming her with a gratitude party. It does not have to be big. You do not have to go out and splurge every month. But by simply lighting a candle and indulging in your favorite sweet, that to me qualifies as a party. My daughter and I do this every month. I either light a candle or I love to gather some herbs just to set the mood for welcoming petunia, and we each eat cake. It's really as simple as that, but the main point is viewing these days as a blessing rather than a burden goes to show your infinite divinity towards gratitude towards her, your flow. Number 3, half days. Now, this next gift may be very difficult for some of you out there because we all have our own schedule, our own lives. Maybe some of you guys have kids, I get it. But I highly recommend setting aside the first 2 days of your flow as half days. Take care of whatever business you need to do for the first part of your day, and the remainder of those days, if you can, please get some rest, relax, rejuvenate, and recover in bed. Only because the first 2 to 3 days our energy level is really quite low. And like I said, we all have our busy schedules. And with me in the past, I've had to work on my flow. I've had to run errands, go to school, take care of my daughter. And at times, I get completely lethargic. But if you're able to plan your day to where you complete your main tasks, and for the remainder of that day, that time will go directly towards you resting. No exceptions, ladies. Your levels of hormones are shifting, and in order to function, rest is the best remedy. This is a highly sacred protective gift because when we value and understand our level of worthiness, we accept the feminine life from the universe and can take time to pause and rest and know what is around me will be fine, and what requires my attention now is my body. Half days for the first 2 days is not going to hurt anyone. Number 4, creating a playlist specifically for her. When Petunia arrives, I'm pretty sure we can all relate to the roller coaster of emotions, feelings, and different moods we're all experiencing, especially leading up to her arrival and even during. But by creating a playlist that's comforting, focuses on uplifting your spirit, and puts you and her in a vibration of ease rather than hustle, serves as a sweet gift to allow her to run her course. I recommend just 3 songs to start off, and during your time of experiencing Petunia, or whatever name you decide to name her, play these songs for her. Allow the frequency of the instruments, lyrics, and sounds to move easily within your body. The last time Petunia arrived, I placed my earphones around my lower abdomen and lower back to signal for her, because I knew my choice of music energetically alleviated her arrival, and I feel like it really soothed my whole body more. If you are familiar with chakras, they're energy centers within our body, and when a woman is experiencing her flow, our root chakra and sacral chakra, also known as Muladhara and Svadhisthana, are greatly affected by the shift of hormones. Allow this personal playlist to serve as a stable and pleasurable gift of balance to her. Number 5, learn about your cravings. Okay, so because our hormones are fluctuating at this extremely vulnerable and irregulated time, it's easy to opt for any and every craving we desire, right? Which is 100% completely normal, but it can cause bad habits without even realizing it, especially in the long run. If you're someone who typically turns to salt, greasy foods, or snacks, chips, candy bars, sugar, soda, donuts with all of these ingredients, you and I probably sometimes can't even pronounce, try opting for organic brands, vegan vegetable chips, and or making your own cravings at home. By making your own alternatives and knowing the amount of certain ingredients you're adding into them would be better than always splurging on certain junk foods when Petunia arrives. Also, you're not putting a heavy amount of stress onto your digestive system by needing to work harder to cleanse out your system's impurities. And these foods, organic options, homemade snacks, or meals, have better health benefits towards comforting your flow than any amount of salt, grease, or sugar combined. Now, I'm not saying, you have to cut out like all junk food 100%, because to me, I'll have my bag of chips every so often, or a chocolate bar. But knowing the importance of your body's chemistry and foundationally creating lifelong habits during this time serves as a gift, because you're the one living with her. Petunia's cravings will vary from month to month, but knowing how to accommodate to that in a way that prioritizes your overall health rather than abusing it is overall beneficial. I wanted to add, instead of sodas filled with tons of artificial sugars, try making a batch of homemade iced tea, lemonade, or jamaica, which is hibiscus, and add pieces of actual fruit for more natural sweetness to elevate the flavor, or even vegetables to certain drinks. Also, when I make drinks, I love to opt for mint, rosemary, lemon, sage, basil, or even sometimes oranges. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I love cake, and that's typically what I love to turn to as my sweet treat. Sometimes, I buy store-bought, or sometimes I just make my own. But whatever chance you get, and if you have time, incorporate 1 to 2 healthier versions of your cravings while on your flow. Number 6, Sensual Spell. Do you have a go-to scent when you're on your flow? Or are you sensitive to certain scents derivative from creams, oils, lotions, or any forms of topicals? Sensual Spell comes in at number 6 because this gift consists of you creating your own bath concoction. When Petunia arrives, I mix together rose-scented exfoliant with eucalyptus cream, and I apply it on my lower abdomen. And once I'm done cleansing my body, and right before I step out of the shower, I rub my Sensual Spell on for a few minutes, and the smell of both, oh my goodness, you guys, makes me feel so sexy. And it brings out this tigress within me, and I'm energetically taken to this place of feminine embrace and feminine power. If you have certain scents that make you feel that way and are bath friendly, you're able to wash it off prior to stepping out of your bath, then get mixing, everyone. I highly recommend that you personalize this sensual spell to fit what you believe is sexy and gives your arousers a pleasurable feeling. Mix together different body washes or exfoliants, or even if it's one single scent of soap, that you prefer, do you. Like I said, if you're not big on scents or just want to use a scrubber to wash your body with, nothing else, that's the beauty of creating your own sensual spell. It is specifically for and made for you. Number 7, allow the divine masculine to serve you. Okay, so this one is a little bit woo-woo, but it definitely works for me. Calling on the masculine divine power to serve as extra strength during our moments of vulnerability when we're on our flow serves as spiritual healing and protection for our energy. Specifically, I love to incorporate this gift when I'm experiencing cramping. If you have a significant other who is a man or identifies as the masculine, asking them to slowly, gently rub their hands over the areas in which you are experiencing cramping will allow for you to feel more regulated and decrease your intensity of cramps. If you do not have a significant other like myself, place a quote-unquote masculine object of your choice by or around the areas in which you're experiencing cramping. So with me, I have a book from one of my favorite male authors, or you could use maybe like a stuffed animal or maybe like a t-shirt or a fragrance that exemplifies more of a masculine energy, but it must be some type of form of object. And the main objective is understanding we are in a place of positive feminine energy, our flow, and therefore require for our energy to be matched with that of positive masculine energy. Does that make sense? When you allow the divine masculine to be subservient to you as a woman during this time, both energies blend together graciously by simply being present with one another. Honestly, you really do not have to go out to purchase anything though if you're not able to, and I'm sure you have some form of an item you can categorize as masculine around your home to serve you. Also, prior to me placing any item on or near me that I believe is masculine, I like to say a happy affirmation to help ground us both as our energies connect. So here's what I say. Thank you for the divine of both feminine and masculine. Heal and release tension my body is experiencing with your masculine divinity. Number 8, regulation versus irregularities. When during your time of flow, your tolerance towards certain foods, habits, liquids, or even energies may differ. For example, like when I'm on my flow, I personally get really disgusted by egg yolks, loud noises, and talking on my phone for long periods of time. By understanding what makes you feel good, what regulates your senses and energies versus what doesn't, is a perfect gift to give yourself because you're not tolerating irregularities. I understand every flow cycle every year may bring about new emotions, which may bring about new irregularities or regulations, but in whatever moment or situation you're in, if your gut instinct is telling you not to do XYZ, then don't. This example is perfect for if you don't feel like eating a certain food, then don't. If you don't feel like forcing yourself to exercise or maybe to go to an event, don't. Don't like certain products because it messes with your body chemistry, then stop using them. Instances like I mentioned earlier, if say maybe you do have to work, you can't just not work, or you have a family, you have responsibilities that need catering towards, by setting aside time to rest will do you wonders in your life, even if it's just for a short moment. By becoming mindful towards what regulates versus disrupts your flow, this gift is universal for us all because it tells your body it does not always have to be in a survival state of mind. Your body can and must be able to relax from irregularities for internal peace. Number 9, gift of pure acceptance. Our flows are here to stay once we get them for however long we get them for. So once it comes, being able to accept our flow, its color, the texture, the amount of leakage that we have, all of the bodily changes that are attached to our flow through the different seasons of our life, and really just accepting rather than intercepting with Mother Nature's gift hold benefits to this part of us. Number 10, speak her into existence. A few years after giving birth, I began to speak Petunia into existence within my life because it made me feel as if I was missing a part of me I had abandoned. Not because of the fact that I am a mom, but because of the fact that I began accepting and putting so much emphasis towards toxicity, hurt, and pain that I was giving Petunia no space and place to safely release herself from. My vagina, my root, and all foundational power attached to it was not in a place of feeling safe, protected, welcomed, and vibrant. My hormones were whack, and I visited a couple of doctors' offices, and they just wanted to prescribe me medications, and I instinctively knew that they were going to cause more harm than healing of my body. I needed and I really wanted a softer, holistic approach that connected with my philosophies. And so I took matters into my own hands and I began speaking Petunia into existence. I went out and I bought a pack of liners just to start small and to signal to Petunia whenever she is ready to be a part of my life again. I want her to feel safe in knowing her presence will be valued, and that I really just sat down and I promised myself to stop engaging with toxicity and what doesn't serve me as a better person. Speaking your flow into existence, especially if you are experiencing irregular and emotional flows, lets the universe know your mindset is maturing into knowing how to care for yourself as a woman. By creating a realm specifically designated for Petunia, liners or pads, knowing how to rest, accepting her, taking time off when need be. By this creation, your signals of love, attention, and prosperity gives her space to flourish. The more I began to speak my flow into existence, the more my life felt receptive towards welcoming her. Number 11, cycle syncing. Now, cycle syncing is a whole separate learning experience within itself, but in a nutshell, cycle syncing is the practice of implementing certain daily habits, exercise, and nutrition to match the hormonal rise and fall during your flow. There are different phases: the menstrual, follicular, ovulatory, and luteal phase, which all serve as different seasons within when you begin to once you complete your flow. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole pertaining to this gift because I myself am fairly new to cycle syncing, and prior to learning more about it, I had just been wanting to implement more consistency into the way I treat and care for my flow before all else. But this is a great gift just so you can be aware of what it is if in the event you're wanting to dive more deeper via the internet on what cycle syncing consists of. Those are all the sacred gifts pertaining to your menstrual cycle. When I began to flow in my early teens, I knew for a fact that my mother in a lot of ways dreaded that I was becoming a woman. My mother felt this way because her mother had 8 daughters and 4 sons, and as immigrants, my mother's side being from Samoa, it was a burden. They were poor, and having all these kids that they couldn't financially keep up with, my mom being born in the 50s, females beginning to flow was not celebrated at all. So it was a burden. And it was a burden because now you could get stuck getting pregnant with anybody from the village, and that guaranteed more responsibilities for you as a woman. It was a burden because that meant more money had to be spent on products to support your cycle and to keep you clean as a female, and this was money my grandma and grandpa didn't already have. And it meant avoiding talking about what happens to your body once puberty begins. I know the word puberty was not used during my grandparents' generation, but it was a passage into adulthood they didn't even talk about. My grandmother's mother, I know for a fact, also did not speak to my grandmother about monthly cycles because, from what I've been told from an auntie of mine, my great grandmother was partially deaf and mute and had no education towards the female body and how to lovingly care and gently nurture it during different seasons of a woman's life. This then affected the way my grandmother viewed womanhood, which affected the way my mother viewed it as well. And as a teen, I experienced more irritability, irregularities, and dysfunction around my monthly flow than learning how to love and grow with it. This is 4 generations, y'all, of women who sometimes fought against being a woman. And I also wanted to share with you guys that the Samoan word for when a woman gets her period is ma'i. Ma'i, which is the same word and holds the same meaning as sickness. So their beliefs, their philosophies, their points of views, attitudes surrounding one part of what makes a woman correlated to her also being sick, as if something was wrong, with having a flow. But when you think about it, there's no negative connotation towards a woman being viewed as desirable or fertile, right? And what makes a woman fertile is being able to have a flow. And so growing up with my mother's beliefs passed down from previous generations' beliefs has been my motive when writing and talking about this topic. As someone who has a daughter, I never want for her to believe that what is attached to her existence is a burden. Having your flow as a woman is natural. It is beautiful. It's goddess energy. And let alone any woman out there who has ever been embarrassed or felt disgusted from others because of the fact we're just being who we are. We cannot control it. Flowing is not a sickness, and it is through these sacred spiritual gifts that I have been able to educate myself, heal from the inside out on all of my limited beliefs and harmful habits, and to now finally be able to share them all with you. This video is going up on YouTube, you guys, and it is staying there. For whatever generation of individuals listening to this audio, I really do hope that you have been able to resonate with one of these gifts. And, if not, I wish you all the best within your life. And also, last, I wanted to make 3 more remarks. Number 1, whether or not you are a woman who has her flow, that does not make you any less or more of a woman than any other. Number 2, I am not a doctor, and if your body signals the need for one for any reason, your cycle's well-being or for your body in general, find a doctor you feel comfortable with and set up an appointment and write your questions down prior to your visit so that you can just feel more open and receptive when you're at your doctor. And number 3, continue to understand and listen to your body during every season. I secure Petunia's arrival by having mini feminine wipes and pads with me wherever I go or in my purse, and I take time for myself to truly care about my well-being from the inside out. But by honing into your natural instinct, this will give your body a safe place to prosper and thrive as a woman and as a human. I'm Tenamane. This is Pretty Privilege. Thanks for listening to my audio video. Mahalo nui noa.